Okay, so one of the interesting things about this general election, despite the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty on the peninsula side about who is the dominant party, that question does not arise in terms of Sarawak. Everybody accepts that in Sarawak, the dominant party or the dominant coalition is GPS. And I'm very pleased to speak with my old friend, Datuk Karim, who is the minister in the Sarawak state government and is the information chief for GPS. Good morning, Datuk. How's everything in Kuching nowadays?
The situation is fine. You don't really feel the heat of the election, actually. Well, you do see the posters around, but then it's not as tense as the previous election.
Yes.
It might be different in West Malaysia. Yeah.
It's also very quiet here, actually. I think what happened is that all the parties are putting up the resources for the past 2 or 3 days. This coming week is crucial. So I think it's because my take is that there is a lot of undecided voters out there. But I think we're all sort of, I think this election is very unusual, Dato', because we're coming out of the pandemic, right? So people have different ideas about what election is. But coming back to Sarawak, Dato', I think a lot of people in Malaysia are wondering, why is GPS in such a dominant position? What is it that you're selling that make the Sarawakians happy and willing to support you?
Well, Sarawakians are very passionate, very patriotic to their state. So when you go along the line of protecting Sarawak's right, this starts about from the time of the late Tok Nan. And you can see it during the election that was held, the state election that was held, where the slogan of Sarawak first, Sarawak diutamakan, or Sarawak first, being used as our forefront, and that probably ran down very well with the voters, with Sarawak kids. But apart from that, the government of the day, after they have won the election, they follow through with what they have promised. We can see that the government is quite well managed. It comprises of all the ethnic group, all the racial group in Sarawak. They are there as leaders. So I believe it is a combination of all these factors that lead to Sarawakian voters, Sarawakian having faith in GPS.
Okay, Dato', let me put you on the spot. What about the counter argument that for democracy to work properly, you need a strong opposition?
Well, I also agree to that. Let the opposition be from West Malaysia. We are going for a parliamentary election. Definitely, there will be opposition in West Malaysia, but we would want to see whitewash in Sarawak, I would say, where if we can win 31 seats, that's the one that we being offered for Sarawak. If we can win 31 seats, I would love to see GPS winning 31 seats.
Okay,
we are not very far from there. I'm very, very sure on the 19th of November, we should be winning either 31 seats or not very far from 31 seats. Yeah.
All right, Dato'. If you win 31 seats, then you have to buy me Sarawak laksa.
Oh, sure. My pleasure. I would love to. Yeah.
All right, Dato'. So one of the arguments among the people of Sabah, the ordinary people, is that they are thinking we must not allow the peninsula side to have a dominant party that can win election on its own, so that they continue to ignore Sabah and Sarawak. And therefore, that the people of Sabah, Sarawak, you really hope that on the peninsula side, you have a good, strong party over there, but maybe somebody who's not very strong, who will rely on Sabah and Sarawak to stay in power. What is your comment on this thing?
Well, personally, I see none of the coalition parties in West Malaysia will be able to make it to form a government. The federal government after the 19th of November. They will still need Sabah and Sarawak. And apart from that, Sabah, Sarawak plays a very big role. The economy of Malaysia relies quite a lot on Sabah and Sarawak. So whichever component parties or whichever coalition of parties that are going to form the government, they will have to court. They will have to be good to Sabah and Sarawak if they want to see a harmonious Malaysia after this. And through the years, there have been quite a number of matters that Sabah and Sarawak leaders have been asking for. They should look into this. These are about the rights of the states that have been eroding through the years for the last 50 years. We can see some of it has been attended to, but there are many, many more that we are still seeking for. The era of Tun Mahathir is not there. I can see that a lot of this erosion of these rights happened during those days, that 22 years of Tun Mahathir era. And I can see that the post-Mahathir era, they are more accommodative to the demand of the leaders of Sabah and Sarawak as far as the states' rights are concerned. Yeah, and we hope to see this coming forth after this election. Among them are the wanted seats in Parliament, which has been taken away after Singapore left Malaysia, and a few other rights of the oil and gas rights, the rights of a continental shelf, the territorial rights, among others. Yeah, these are very passionate matters that are very passionate to the states. Yeah, to both states. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, Datuk. But things like oil and gas, if the federal government were to return the rights to Sabah and Sarawak, I would argue that this will basically mean that Petronas is in big trouble.
Not necessarily.
Dividend is crucial to the federal government budget. So how do you answer those people who say that we understand your passion for oil and gas, and we also know it really does belong to Sabah and Sarawak, but what about the larger picture, the fact that Petronas is needed for the federal development budget?
The cake is to be shared, and they have to understand, where does that cake come from? It comes from the two states in the two Bornean states. You cannot take it up. Things have changed. Those days when our leaders are not very qualified, when they are in Parliament, they are not able to argue on this aspect. That's why when the bill was being tabled in Parliament those days, it get bulldozed through so easily, But then things has changed. The MPs are getting more educated. The leaders of Sarawak are getting more educated, and we feel that the two states need to be provided also, because the level of development in these two states as compared to the states in West Malaysia, the gap is too wide. And that is where, if you have to look at it, we need those monies too. Unless the federal government, unless Petronas are able to adhere and accommodate for those development. If we are to see the argument that they keep on giving us, the other states need to be developed too. Yes, we agree. Every state in Malaysia need to be developed. But the two largest states in Malaysia are the Bornean state. You cannot give them just pittance. They need to be given much, much more. Furthermore, Petronas, the lifesaver for Malaysia, are getting the resources from the two states. So you have to give back more to the two states. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
Thank you, Datuk. Final question. You know, right? In Sabah now, one of the election issues is that they keep talking about the Borneo bloc. So they actually look up to Sarawakians and the fact that GPS is a very strong bloc. So they talk about the Borneo bloc, the Sabah bloc combining with GPS. But yet we don't see a lot of reactions from the GPS leaders. What is the thinking among the GPS leaders about this idea of a Borneo bloc with some of the major blocs in Sabah?
Well, Sabah and Sarawak, in every field, whether it's in politics, whether it's in sport, cultures and all that, they are very close to each other. I do believe that if we can get closer through what we call the Eastern Bloc or the Borneo Bloc, our voice will be much stronger. And that is also the reason why we are also advocating for that wanted representation in Parliament. We are advocating for something like that. But on the other hand, it is quite difficult as far as Sabah is concerned, because the two main parties that form the Sabah government, state government now, are West Malaysian-based parties. Perikatan Nasional and Barisan Nasional, UMNO. They are the one that form the Sabah government. So even though they are Sabahans themselves, but whatever important policies that need to be decided, they will have to refer to Kuala Lumpur. They have to refer to Putrajaya. That is the reason why it's not that easy unless the people of Sabah make a very crucial decision in the election. I can't speculate on this too much, but then we'll leave it to the Sabahan until we get to that stage, or until the West Malaysian-based party that are looking after Sabah are able to adjust themselves and look at things from the Eastern Bloc point of view. Probably we would be able to see light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, or else it will just be cakap-cakap sajalah. It's just something that is wishful thinking. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Datuk. I know you're very busy with the campaign and everything. Good luck. I hope you will reach your target of 31, because I'm really dying for Sarawak Laksa. Thank you very much, Datuk.
Yeah. But we will be almost there. I hope we should be very, very close to 31, or even if things goes our way, we might be able to get 31 seats. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk. Good to see you again.
Thank you, James. Yeah.